Hello everybody, welcome to creating points in Civil 3D. Before I start creating points, I'm going to go into the settings tab and I'm going to check a couple of defaults before I get started. This will help me speed up the point creation process, especially if I have a whole bunch of points I got to create at once. So first I'm going to go into the settings tab. I'm going to expand out point, and I'm going to expand out the commands menu, and in there you've got an option called create points. I'm going to double click on that, opens up a dialog box, and I'm going to just check some default settings here. So number one, I'm going to check out the default styles, make sure my points are coming in on the correct styles, and also the point creation. So here's some automation you can set up. So if you have a whole bunch of points with the same elevation, rather than typing it in every single time you create a point, you can set it to automatic and then update the default elevation. The same thing goes for the descriptions. If you have a whole bunch of points that need to go on the same description, you can use that default description option there. Okay. And lastly, the other thing you should probably check is your point identity. In here, this will help you manage and organize some of your points, especially if you're creating or importing points into a drawing that already contains points. There's a whole bunch of settings here to help it become a little bit more organized. And for more details on some of these options, just go ahead and click the help, and it'll give you a very detailed overview of each one of those settings. Okay? Fairly self-explanatory. Now, points in Civil 3D are different than AutoCAD points. They are intelligent objects and they reside only in Civil 3D objects. So note when I hover my mouse over top of a point, it tells me it's a COGO point. This is, again, not an AutoCAD point. So they do have some special attributes to them. Now, to start creating points, there's a number of different ways I can create points. The first is through our pull-down menu. They all work the same, but under my pull-down menu, I've got some options here. If you don't see your pull-down menus, just go ahead and click the drop-down beside your workspace switcher here, and then go Show Menu Bar, and your menu bar will pop up. Now, under that points menu, you've got a whole bunch of different options to create points depending on your needs. You can also click the Create Points button up here, and this will bring up a dialog box that you can create points while that is up on your screen. And if you expand that out, you can tweak up some of the settings that you had set in the settings dialog box in that Create Points. So you can override that stuff through here if you want to. Okay. The other way you can create points is, of course, through the Prospector tab. So in the Prospector tab, we can right-click on points, go create, and that same dialog box pops up here, and we can hit that drop down, and there's those same tools. Note that some of the tools here are a bit incomplete when compared with the points pull-down menus. So there's some more elaborate options here in your pull-down menus. Okay, so there's that option. And lastly, on your ribbon. So you can go to the Home tab on your ribbon, and you've got a section here called Points, and you can find those same tools there. Okay, whenever you create a new point, it will show up in your itemized list. So if you go into the Prospector tab, select points, all of your itemized list is down here. You can sort those points through clicking the columns, sort them based on any one of these values here. And if you need to edit those points, you can edit them by just double clicking inside any of these boxes, and you can change up any of those settings. Got it? Good. Okay, let's create a point. So I'm going to go to my Home tab, I'm going to go to Points, and let's try creating a point by azimuth. So there's a little tooltip that will pop up here and give you a little indication as far as what it's going to look for when you start creating those points. So I'm going to start the azimuth command. It means I'm going to start from a specified location. Means I have to have an existing point to create my new point. Okay, so I'm going to select azimuth, and it'll come up and ask me some questions on the command line. So it gives me three options for a starting point. I can use point P if I know a point number, for instance. I can zoom in to a point and type in that point number. In this case, I could use 7550 as the point number. So type that in, it'll start that as that point at the point number there that I type in. If I select point N, it will ask me for a northing and an easting to begin at. And if I pick point G, it will ask me to graphically select a point, an existing point off the screen. So I'm going to use point G, and I'm going to go ahead and select my point object, go ahead and click it, and it's going to ask me some questions here. So first thing, keep an eye on the command line. It says specify the azimuth that you want to create this new point at. So let's say I want to do an azimuth of 45 degrees. Hit enter, and next question is it asks me for a distance. So you can specify the distance, type in that value in meters or whatever your units are, and then you've got yourself a new point. Okay, there's your new point, and you can keep on going if you want, building off that value. So notice that that new point will show up in the list here. If you go ahead and sort by point number and scroll down on the list, there it is there. If it's not showing up, simply just go to the points option up here and go refresh, and that'll refresh, and then you'll be able to see it in the item list. All right, also notice that that point does not have the same description label as we've got in the other points. So if I select the existing point that was there before and go into point group properties, I can see that that point is in a point group called EG. The new point that I just made, I'm guessing it's in a different point group, and yes, it is. It's in all points, and that's why it's got a different point style and a label style. And in a later session, we'll talk about how we can switch that up to a different style or move it into a different point group. All right, and that's about it for points. Thanks very much. Bye.